coming to you from India's largest port. It's operated by Adani, and my guest today is a 31-year-old Karan Adani, the CEO of Adani Port.
This is the largest container terminal at the port as well as in India.
Okay.
This is a 3 million TEU terminal. And
1 second, what is TU? We don't understand this. We're not in shipping.
So TEU is basically a 20-foot box.
Okay.
And that one box is 1 TEU. So this can handle 3 million of them per annum. And this is a joint venture of Adani, APSEZ and MSC, which is world's second largest shipping line.
Okay. So what I see right now, and I'm going to ask my camera person to zoom in, there is a ship here.
Yes.
And now all the containers, I guess, are coming off.
Yes, so the containers will be offloaded and then they will go into the yard, and then from there it will be evacuated either by road or by railway.
Now, Karan Adani, you are Gautam Adani's older son. You could have literally done anything that you wanted in this world. You could have joined the Adani Group. Maybe you could have asked your father to start a new business. You could have literally done anything you wanted.
Sure.
Why did you choose ports?
So I chose ports because A, I like to see things built in front of my eyes. Second, I like the complexity in terms of the operations which occur in the port, because every day is a new challenge, every day is a new, so it's never a dull day. And the
So it wasn't your dad's idea?
No, it was my idea to get into. I was given an option, but it was my idea to join
What was the option?
So I was given an option of power or ports, and I joined.
It's paid off, right? Now look where things are. Aren't you glad you decided on ports and not power?
No, I think both businesses are well. Both businesses are taking the nation forward. So I think I would not say either or.
But power is now being seen as a major drain on the Adani Group. It's got a very high debt. It's led to, political leaders like Subramanian Swamy are talking about the financial health of Adani Group and talking about NPAs, etc.
So I think power as an industry in the country, we are going through a turmoil, and I think it's a part of business cycle. But we are very confident that we will come out of this this phase. I think in terms of debt, I think we are very comfortable because all these debt are backed by solid assets. They are performing assets. Majority of the debt has been with the power, whether it's in the power or ports or in mining. All of them have been backed by good assets, performing assets.
So then why do people like Subramanian Swamy say what they say?
I think it's a issue of people not understanding the overall picture and just looking at the number as a standalone. If you look at it, we have 5 listed companies. From that, 2 are investment grade rated companies, whether it's Port or Adani Transmission. Adani Enterprise, in which we have the edible oil business, the coal mining business, also again have solid assets and solid business over there, all making profits. The most important part is, as a group, we have never defaulted on a loan.
Okay.
In our history, we have never defaulted, even at this stage when power is going through a tough time, we have never defaulted on any of our loans.
Okay, that's very important that you've never defaulted on a loan. And has that been a lesson maybe for you, your father, the Adani Group, that maybe debt is not always the best option, how to not over leverage?
So I think, yes, it has been a learning for us. And I think we are taking steps in terms of deleveraging and to make sure that we are not reaching a position of stress.
At Adani Port, you're happy with the financials, you're happy with the balance sheet?
Yes, so at APSEZ, last 2 years we have had free cash flow generation. Our net debt to EBITDA has been consistently coming down. Last year we were at 3.1 net debt to EBITDA. This year we have closed at 2.4. And the debt will keep coming down because most of our assets are now coming online, and our capex cycle has also come down.
Okay, your capex is coming down. But
Yes.
hello, one second. You've just done a big acquisition in Tamil Nadu from L&T. It's your foray into South India.
Yes.
Taken 2 years to close, 1900 crore rupees. How could you say your capex is going down? You're looking at inorganic growth.
Yes, but we also have free cash flow generation over there. So and the free cash flow generation is going to increase every year because we have most of our ports are now ramping up capacity. Our volumes are increasing, and our monetization on the SEZ is also happening.
Okay.
So I think
How are you monetizing the SEZ?
so we have two models where one is where we build infrastructure for the tenants and then we lease it out. So similar as what we have at the the container terminal that we are in. Or the second option is that we give land to lease, upfront lease to any of the manufacturers who want
So in
to
fact,
sell.
you know, when we were driving here, I did see these signs from Maruti Suzuki,
Yes.
HPCL, IOC, Britannia.
Yes.
These are all your tenants?
These are all our tenants, and
Okay.
we give, apart from just giving them land, we give them the port service. So our model is look for people for whom logistics cost, port is a major part of their logistics cost and who require efficient handling. And that's the differentiator we are creating over here.
Okay, but you know, while I just want to get back to the inorganic growth strategy, if you're investing 1900 crore rupees to buy out L&T stake in Tamil Nadu, I'm sure you have other such plans as well in for other ports.
Sure. So if you look at, we have 10 ports across India right now. And if you look at the geography, there are only two states which are left where we do not have a position, that is Andhra Pradesh and Maharashtra.
Maharashtra.
And we are looking at opportunities, both organically as well as inorganically. The reason I say organically is because not a lot of assets are available for sale, or not a lot of right assets are available for sale as well. So we evaluate both, looking at what is the requirement in terms of the future of the business. At the same time, what is the right price to pay?
You know, before I take a short commercial break, I want to just ask you this one question. It is an uncomfortable question. I'm sure your father's also asked this a lot, or you hear about it. It's no secret. There's a very strong perception that the Adani Group is very close to the current government, to Narendra Modi, to the political establishment in New Delhi. Why does that perception exist if it's not true?
So, as a group, we work with all political parties. We are not, we do not go with only one political party. End of the day, the group philosophy is development, and we work with any government who wants development and who welcome development. And our philosophy is very simple: that you have to take, you have to be in confidence of government when you are making any investment. So unless the government does not want it, whether it's a state or central government, whether it's BJP or Congress, if they do not want it, then we do not pursue that. And the third most is that we.
But have you invested more with the BJP's governments
So
or the
actually,
Congress
it's a good
governments?
question, because when our current Prime Minister was the Chief Minister of Gujarat, during that period, we actually invested more outside of Gujarat than in Gujarat. And most of the investments that we made were in Congress-led governments. States which were run by the Congress.
So you're saying you were politically
Yes.
antagonistic?
Yes.
So do you think it's also because, you know, you are Gujarati, the Prime Minister is Gujarati, so it can't be as simplistic as that.
It is not as simplistic. Yes, my father knows Prime Minister not when he was a CM, but much before that, and it's more of a personal relationship that they enjoy, because they enjoy each other's ideology and they respect that.
Have you met Narendra Modi often?
Met him couple of times, yes,
Uh-huh.
both as a CM as well as when he was a Prime Minister.
Okay.
Amazing personality, amazing vision, and I do genuinely believe that if the country is able to move in the direction that what he is envisioning, I think we will be a very different country once we go through this transition.
Okay, on that note, I'm going to take a short commercial break. Where are we going next?
We'll go to the liquid terminal.
Okay, so we're going to something called the liquid terminal. We'll see you after the short break. Welcome back. You're watching India Inc. 2.0. I'm Nayantara Rai. Today I'm coming to you from the Mundra port in Gujarat. My guest is a 31-year-old Karan Adani. Before this, we were talking at the container terminal. We were going to go to the liquid terminal, but then we found out that this boat that you see behind us is actually leaving the port. It's a Japanese ship. Suzuki's, I
Yes,
understand.
Suzuki gets exported out. Suzuki cars gets exported out of here.
And what's really interesting, I'm going to ask my camera person to zoom in. A much smaller boat is actually tugging this large ship.
Yes, that's right. These small boats are called tugs, and they are pulling the ship out from the berth, and they will bring it into the channel, and then the ship will go by itself.
So these tugs are yours?
Yes, these tugs are owned by the port, Adani Port.
So that's how it works in a port? The tugs have to be provided by the
Yes,
port operator?
generally the tugs have to be provided by the port operator and the port developer.
So right now, folks, I don't know if you can see, that's the Japanese ship that we see where Suzuki cars are being exported. Where are these cars coming from, Sanand?
These are coming from Manesar, and they are going to Japan now.
Okay, they're going to Japan. There's also a Chinese ship here, Costco shipping. So I guess a lot of cheap Chinese equipment that's going to hit the Indian markets has arrived at the Mundra port. So what is your expansion plan?
So today we have a total capacity as APSZ of almost 350 million tons. We are growing at a rate of almost 8 to 9%. And the way we see it, we'll have to expand, we'll have to add almost 10 to 15% of our capacity every year.
So you're adding capacity.
Yes.
But tell me, where does India stand vis-a-vis the rest of the world? You know, once I read you or your father saying that even if you add all of the shipping capacity right now and what we do in India, all the ports capacity, sorry, it doesn't even match up to Shanghai.
Yes, that's right. So we, as a country, still have a long way to go. If you add the total volume of India, what we as a country handle is equivalent to three largest ports in the world. That is, and all of them in China. So if you look at the kind of population that we have, the kind of potential the country has, we still have a long way to go. So we can have easily minimum 10 to 15 Mundras around in the country in order to just harness the growth and to push the growth of the country.
So when you joined Adani Ports in
Yes.
2009, you were primarily in Mundra. There were what, 2 ports at that time?
So we only had Mundra port, and the Dahej port was under construction, and today we have 10 ports both on east coast, west coast and southern part of India. And
You spearheaded all of that.
I would not say I spearhead everything. I think a lot of it was done by my father. But yes, for the last 2-3 years, I've been driving and I've been pushing the growth.
So when you joined Adani Ports in 2009, did you join at the top or the bottom?
I joined at the bottom. So first year I was at the port, learning the operations right at the ground level. I was not officially part of the group, and not a lot of people knew that I was here.
What do you mean? So, what would you say your second name was?
I never said what was my second name at that time.
So somebody asked you your name, what did you say?
I just gave my name, first name. So,
Okay.
So
They had no idea this is the boss's son.
Yeah, so not a lot of people knew about it, and so that is how my father had wanted me to understand the nitty-gritty of the port's operations, understand from ground level what an operator does to what a clerk does, to understand the nitty-gritty. So because once you go up, that's hard to understand at that level.
So you were literally in disguise for 6 months here, when nobody had any idea that you're Gautam Adani's son, where you learned, I guess, literally everything about the port business, how a rookie would.
Yes.
And do you think you'll just stay with the port business? What are your ambitions? What are your dreams?
So I think first in the port business we have a long way to go. I would not say that group's ambitions are satisfied with what we have. Our ambition is to be the world's largest port operator developer.
Based out of India.
Based out of India, and we still have a long way to go. And the second part of the business that we want to grow is in the logistics side. So eventually our aim is to have an integrated logistics company which serves all the customers who are importing and exporting out of the country.
So you already told me how you've entered South India. You have to enter Andhra Pradesh as well as Maharashtra. So how are you going to become the world's largest
So
boat company?
so our next stage of growth is to go within the region. So we are looking at countries like Bangladesh, Myanmar, Indonesia, Malaysia, and on the eastern part of Africa. And the reason we chose these countries is because we do believe that our existing assets, that is Mundra, Dhamra, can play an anchor role in terms of driving volumes and driving business and growth between the two ports. So that's how we are planning right now, that immediately look at the region and then expand further once we've got our foothold in the region.
So who do you go to for advice? I would imagine it's your father, Mr. Gautam Adani.
Yes, he is my mentor. I do go to him for a lot of advice, both on family front as well as on business front.
And do you always agree with him?
Not always, not always. We have different ways of thinking, but I do believe that he has a lot of experience.
But if you disagree with him, then
There is a lot of arguments. I would not say that it goes smoothly. There are a lot of arguments, and we try to find a middle ground.
okay.
It's not always one way or the other, and sometimes it happens that you have to follow what he says. Sometimes if he says no, this is it, so we have to follow it.
He's
as
the
well.
boss.
Yes.
How conscious are you of the fact that your family name is Adani?
Very conscious because end of the day this is our brand. A brand is the last name, so I would like to say that end of the day we would like to be associated more on terms of nation building, creating world-class infrastructure, creating sustainable business, and creating infrastructure which is something which the nation can be proud of.
And are you also, you know, like a caretaker for the brand is what you're trying to tell
Exactly.
me you are, of the Adani brand and the Adani name. But are you also very conscious of the fact that you may one day be the successor of the Adani Group?
So it's still a long way to go. My father still has a long way to go. He's not retiring anytime soon. And we will take it as it comes at that time.
So there's no talks that happen around family succession? and all
No,
this?
not right now. It's
No?
too early.
No?
It's too early.
You're clearly very passionate about the ports business. You had a choice between power and ports. Do you think one day, besides what the Adani Group already is in, do you have ambitions for other kind of businesses?
I think there is a lot of room to grow. Even only in the logistics space also, there is a lot of new businesses that can be started. And that is what we would look for.
So within the logistics?
Yeah, so tomorrow we still have a whole space of air cargo, airports.
Oh, is that something you're looking at?
We would look at it because end of the day it's all linked to the logistics. So we would be happy to look at and expanding this business as well.
Would that be the natural progression, air cargo and air logistics?
I think so.
And would it all be, because you've got 40,000 acres, let's say, at the Mundra SEZ,
Yes.
right? So would it be from here?
It could be from here. It could be. So we already have an airport over here, airstrip, and we would look at starting maybe something from here. But we will also look at within the country as well.
And by when do you think you'll do this?
It's a tricky question. I think we'll look at the right opportunity. I don't think so. We would look at it from a financial point of view, but I think getting the right asset. When
So you could look at inorganic growth for entry?
Yes, we could.
So you want to be like the next DHL and FedEx, but for you know, cargos.
Yes, that's right.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, that's right.
Now we can. I'm going to ask my camera person because I think we're coming towards the end of at least what I see here.
Yes.
So it's a whole view that we get to see.
Yes, this is 2 kilometer of.
It's 2 kilometers long.
Yeah, this is 2 kilometers long, and you get to see the largest terminal in the country, container terminal in a single location. And yeah, and this is already in terms of handling one of the largest terminals in the country.
So you know, you once told me that it's going to be like 40 kilometers.
So the whole Mundra port is 40 kilometer. We are just in
Which
the
is
part.
incidentally Worli to Colaba.
Yeah, which is in terms of area wise, it's like going from Worli to Colaba. This is only a small part of the 40 kilometers, what we are seeing.
Okay.
So this is only 10% of that 40 kilometers.
So that's all you scratched, 4
Yes,
kilometers.
yes.
That's all that has happened so
Yes,
far.
yes.
And the capacity would therefore be what, like?
So the capacity today in Mundra port, this is the largest port. We are capacity of 250 million tons. We can increase this to almost a billion tons.
Almost a billion tons.
Yes.
That is exactly what the country's today's
Yes,
capacity
exactly.
is.
Country's total capacity.
You
Total
want-
volume
Total
handling.
volumes, yeah,
Yes.
that you're going to do from one port.
Yes, that's right.
So, you know, when we were coming here, you were showing me the mangroves. So, I know that you're very big on conservation, on forestation as
Yes.
well. So, how's that going?
So as a group, I'm very passionate about making sure that whatever ports, the sort of carbon footprint that we are creating, we are neutralizing it. So there are multiple steps that we are taking. Part of it is afforestation and mangrove conservation. We have done 4,000 hectares of afforestation, one of the largest in the country. In terms of mangrove protection, we have, from the time we have come in till now, we have actually increased the mangrove cover by almost 250 hectares.
250 hectares,
Yes,
you've increased it.
Yes, that's
Okay.
right. And in terms of waste energy, we are looking to, by 2025,
That's 7 years from now.
That's
so
7 years from now.
Yeah.
That whatever electricity the port is using is 100% renewable.
Okay.
And
So what will happen to the thermal plant, the coal thermal plant? You going to shut it down?
No, no. So that gives me volume. So I am not going to shut that down. But yes, from a port point of view, we would look at balancing out whatever waste, whether it is industrial, whether it is human, or whether it is any cargo handling related waste. We are neutralizing it. So whether it's in the form of waste energy, whether it's in the form of recycling, or
Do you find your generation and your peers, it could be friends of other industrialist families, etc., more conscious in your age group about the environment and conservation?
I do believe that this generation is more conscious, partly because we are going to be giving this to the next generation. And second is also because now this has become a part of doing business. You cannot get away from it. And
Why is that? It's not, you can do the 2% CSR or whatever it is. Why do you don't have to do
but
it.
as a responsible corporate, as a corporate who wants to sustain on a longer term, who want to make sure that you are here for a longer period and not just for 20 years or 30 years, but more for three generations,
if you feel
4
so
generations.
passionate about this and you're doing all of this, can you just put this in perspective for me? Because I'll be very honest with you,
Yeah.
I've now gotten confused because sometimes I read reports, it's happening, then it's not happening, then the government is for it, then it's against it.
Yes.
What's happening in Australia? Where is it at?
So Australia, it's a good question. Australia, we have got all the government approvals for everything. For the rail, mine and the port, we have all the government approvals. We have got all the environment approvals. We have completed the financing of the mine. The port is already operational. Now we are just closing on the financing on the rail part. So once that is done, we'll start the
So
start the
all the
project.
clearances are in? Because we
Yes.
just keep hearing sometimes the Queensland government has said
No,
yes,
no,
they said
no.
no.
No. We've got all the approvals in place.
Okay, so you are just waiting to close the financing for the
Yes, that's
railways.
right.
How much would you need?
I think that project is almost $1 billion.
$1 billion.
Yeah.
Okay. Karan Adani, as we get to the end of this interview, do you want to tell me where it is that you see yourself 10 years from now? What is your vision for yourself, the entrepreneur, as well as for the group?
So 10 years from now, I would like to see the group becoming much larger.
Obviously.
I think I would like to see that group is known more for the kind of assets and the kind of world-class assets that we are building, for its commitment that once we have given our word, we execute everything, and more importantly, known for being a sustainable and a responsible corporate. So a lot of focus on governance, a lot of focus on environment, on sustainability, and taking along the stakeholders. So that's the idea.
Are those deficiencies right now?
I would not say they are deficiency, but they are deficiency in terms of perception.
Okay.
So that's the idea, that we would like to correct that, and more importantly, we would like to leave an asset for the country which the country can be proud of.
Okay, that's a very big ambition that you certainly have lined up for you. My final question to you is, we drove through Mundra.
Yes.
Your father came here when it was just a village.
Yes.
Now it's a flourishing town where people from outside are coming and they're living here. Would you say that Mundra would perhaps be one of the biggest legacies of the Adani Group, maybe something like what the Tatas had thought of doing in Jamshedpur?
Definitely, this.
But you
will-
don't get credit for it because again, it's a
Yeah, yeah, it
perception
is,
battle. You're fighting a perception
yeah,
battle all the
exactly,
time.
Exactly. But yes, this is our karma bhumi. This is where we have started as a group, and this is the legacy that we want to leave behind. That this will be a flourishing town, a town which will be known for its world-class infrastructure, having best-in-class talent available, as well as one of the best industries that the country can offer.
And with that, I'd like to thank you so
Thank
much.
you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you.